Alright, so that should be good to go. Today I'm dropping some music on because it gets really quiet when you're by yourself. And legit, I feel like I'm on a desert island sometimes. I'm like Tom Hanks. There we go. I'm like Tom Hanks on Castaway. Alright, guys, I'm going to just give it a couple of minutes for people to jump on. I know that, I know I just jump on sporadically, but sometimes it's only a chance that I get to do this. So, with that said, welcome back. Music might be a little too loud. I just dropped on some Hasib. I haven't listened to his album for a minute, so perfect time to vibe out and get into the making this mock-up, yo. Let's get into it, y'all. So today I've got a blazer. Y'all see the blazer? Looks like a green. I would say a pine green, almost like a Jordan 1 pine green color, and white. I had it masked off, so I got to clean it up a little bit. The other blazer. So let me show you guys what I did with the other blazer. Let me see if I have it. Oh, that was not good. That was a ruler that fell. Where is it at? Alright, I might have to find that in a minute, y'all. It's somewhere around here. But the other one I turned into a pine green colorway. This one, we're going to flip it to a second mock-up. You guys could see the mock-up is right here. They want to go with like almost like a gray, like a light gray color here. And almost like a grayish blue. I'd say like a light navy blue in these sections here. So I've already cut out some leather. Y'all see this swoosh right here? This swoosh was not there before. So I've already cut that swoosh out of leather. I've sewn it on. I used a light gray thread to sew it on, just so that way if I paint it light gray, it'll blend in even better. And so what I'm going to do today, because a lot of people have been asking me, you do some pretty wild stuff. Can you take it down a notch and start for beginners, start for those that are first starting to create, who are into the whole, I want to customize a shoe, but I don't know where to start. Well, today I'm going to show you guys how to start. All right, so that's what this blazer is going to be. We're going to just do a concept. You guys could see the mock-up is already here to the right side. That was from my client, so I didn't make that mock-up. Mock-ups are not really that difficult to make. You can use Photoshop, Procreate, Adobe Illustrator. Hell, you could even use Microsoft Paint, if you don't have those really complex kind of programs. But I was lucky. He just gave me this. He sent me the shoe. He just bought the shoe from Goat. Sent him over to the studio. And so today my job is to make this look like that. All right. So with that said, before I even start, GTC Reels, what's good? He said, hey, Tom, where's Wilson? Oh, Castaway reference. Gotcha. I almost forgot my own joke, yo. Oh, my own corny joke. Superman Lover, what's good? Yo, yo, yo. Both of you guys over on YouTube. So looks like YouTube's doing its thing today. GP Lock, what's good? I want some 2020 Iowa Wu-Tangs. Follow me to connect. I don't have a gram. Gotcha. Don't have an Instagram. Do you mind if you could email me, bro? That'll probably be the best way. I am booked right now, unfortunately. But we'll talk. The Wu-Tangs that I don't know if you're talking about these Wu-Tangs. These were the Wu-Tangs that I had created for my homie Khan. I do just do one of ones. So if I made this pair for Khan, we would have to come up with some kind of a different. I don't even know if I showed you guys the end result of these live or not, man. But this is, I call them my Wu-Tang remixes because obviously there's a Wu-Tang dunk out. And yeah, this was just my idea of having. I wish I could have had more time. I would have done the whole damn shoe with a swarm of bees, but the way it took each bee, it took me like, man, I would say at the end I got to like 3 or 4 hours of painting each bee. I got it down at that time, but in the beginning, just to get the idea of details and shadows. All of them have shadows on them. You could see the shadows behind them. Yeah, I mean, slowly but surely it took me time. But the goal of this project was to show you guys details. So this will be on the Patreon channel, by the way. So if you guys are a Patreon member, if you're a Patreon, what do you call them? A patron. If you guys are a patron, you guys will see the art of details, what we call this video. It'll be coming out very soon. In the back of the pair of kicks. Sorry, I know I just sporadically jump into stuff sometimes. But back of the kicks was the New York skyline. And Javarius, what's good, man? Thank you for liking the stream already, man. Early. You guys could see that, like the bat, almost like the Batman's logo, but instead it's a Wu-Tang logo. If you look really close into the shoes, you can see the swarm of bees. Y'all see the swarm of bees behind this big bee here? All the swarm of bees flying into Staten Island, where the sign is coming from. Same with this side as well. You can see like bees coming on this side. You know, little stuff like that. The art of detail, it's going to be coming. I'm not going to say it's going to come soon because we've got so many videos to edit, but I'll say within the next month or so, you guys will be seeing how to create the art of detail, man. Yeah, man, hit me up, man. We'll talk. Sorry, I didn't mean to get off topic there, y'all. I know we got to get into this. There goes the neighborhood. What's good, Wade? How you living, man? I like those, but I don't like the suede on the side. Wonder if I can take that part off. Superman Lover's talking about this little slit here. I feel like you could take it off, man. I feel like if you hit it with the razor blade right here, bro. Obviously, you cut the whole thread line out. And this looks like maybe about a 3 to 3.5 ounce piece of suede. If you can just get some 3.5 leather, bro, I think you can slip that piece in. And Superman Lover, I know you're a Patreon member, so if you look at, you know, the patcher videos that we've been, you know, doing all this reconstruction work, the patcher video, check that out. You'll use the patcher to just put those lines back in. But yeah, man, that should be, hopefully it'll be easy for you. Layla, what's up, baby? How are you? That's my baby girl, Layla. GTC Real said dope. Scrawny Johnny said, yo, what's good, Scrawny? I'm awake today, Scrawny. I know you hit me up the other day, man. I don't know if you were hitting me up for something, though. Where you just kind of said, like, thumbs up and left me alone. So hit me up if you needed something, bro. I appreciate it, man. Hey, you just subscribed, dude. Thank you. Guys, I don't know if you know, but if you're on Twitch, you guys could subscribe to my channel. I'm still new to Twitch. But shout out to the people on Twitch right now. Shout out to the folks on YouTube. We got the most people over on YouTube right now. And we got some folks on Facebook as well, man. So if you guys hear me saying different comments to different people, it might be coming from Facebook, from YouTube, from Twitch. So yeah. What else we got, man? We got so many beeps and bops going. Layla, thank you for subscribe. My baby girl just subscribed to my own channel, man. I love you. Thank you, baby. I miss you too. Needs more detail. Hollis, I'll try to get more detail in on those Wu-Tangs for you next time, bro. Man, the 29K is skipping stitches like crazy, man. I'm going to have to turn it in for a machine. Graham, before you turn in your 29K for a machine, why don't you DM me, man? Let's have a conversation and see if we can figure out the skipping situation. I don't think you told me about any skipping problems before on the patcher, but you know I'm an old man, bro. It might have checked out of my memory. I get a lot of inquiries on the patcher. But hit me up, man, before you throw that thing away, bro. It's a good, man, I was gonna throw it away too. I'm gonna tell you right now. I had my patcher, bro. It was like literally like a paperweight, but that was like 500 pounds. It was like just sitting there doing nothing, collecting dust for like 2 years. Sometimes you gotta oil it right, Graham. And I feel like if it's been sitting there for a long time, that oil kind of gets like thick and crusty, and it doesn't let the gears move the way it should. So don't throw away the machine yet. We're gonna figure it out. Layla, I'm glad you're good, baby. We're gonna come get you in a little bit, okay? Mom's on her way home right now. Oh, okay, cool, man. Johnny, yeah, thank you, man. I really appreciate that, homie. I'm good, man. Obviously, you know I was working on those Simpsons shoes. So if you guys haven't checked out my Simpsons kicks that I just did a pair of Jordan 1 Tropical Twists. And the crazy part about the whole thing was not one person has commented that they're Jordan 1 mids. I thought for sure somebody was going to say something negative like, yo, you know, like the design or whatever, but why did you do them on Jordan 1 mids? That's what the client picked out, you know. And I was kind of like, damn, I wish I had a little, like, you know, you got like another half an inch or an inch more to do stuff with a high. But I think I did okay with what canvas we had there, you know what I mean? So that's why Johnny, everybody, Patreon folks, if you haven't seen me on live lately, it's because I just committed like 10 days. I just locked myself in the studio and I just worked on those shoes like literally day and night. I mean, I like literally had to spend time with my kids and family, you know, because I had a lot of making up to do. So if you guys haven't seen those kicks, please check them out. They're on Instagram. It's under @FeelGoodThreadsLA. And I would love for your guys' comments and feedback on it. And we're going to have a film on that too. So I can't wait for you guys to see that one next. All right. I don't know why it says that. I just been. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what, Johnny? I know for sure you subscribed a long time ago, bro. So I don't know. I just assumed maybe you had turned off the subscription, or maybe it's catching up. I don't know. You know. Maybe it's like me, bro. It's like it has old joints, you know, so it takes a minute to warm up. And it was like, oh, Johnny, dude, we forgot to put Johnny subscribed. I don't know. But anyways, man, thank you for subscribing either way, regardless. My boy GTC Reels, Patreon family, yo, thank you so much for the donation last time, man. I really appreciate that. You know, it kind of keeps us going. Speaking of donators, man, I want to shout out Webb's Custom Kicks. You can see Webb's right here. He's our top donator. Big fan, big homie. When he was out in LA, I came out to go see him real quick and give him a shout out and visit, which was awesome. The Dye Lab, another big donator for us. Graham, Scrawny Johnny, thank you guys so much. You guys keep me, man, you keep me and my family fed, man. So I always appreciate you guys for donating, homie. Ghostface Chilla, I like that name, man. Pretty sure there is just a hole behind the suede. I don't think it's a hole. I think it's just this backing here, and they just toppled it. You know, that's all it is. So the Simpsons custom is fire, bro. Thank you so much, Superman Lover. I appreciate that. Took a long time to come up with that design. Actually, a lot of that design was done on Procreate. So you're on Patreon, so you'll see the whole behind the scenes. We did a whole you know, obviously we just filmed it because if we didn't film it, I spent almost all that time doing it. We're just wasting time. But anyways, let's jump into the custom real quick. Yo, nothing but love over here too, homie. First off, yo, you saw how I was touching the whole shoe, and this is how people were making the shoe at the factory, right? So we're gonna go ahead and strip or clean off any parts that we need to actually paint. All right, so I've got green, I've got this white, I've got this back heel tab here, and I've got a green swoosh. So obviously there's different ways you can clean that up. I usually like to use acetone. So there's two options I'm going to give you guys. So acetone, or I'm going to close them before I do this because I'm going to probably spill it. Knowing me, I'm clumsy. This is in an airbrush cleaner. This is acetone, okay? Corey Sayers, what's good, homie? Thank you, man. I appreciate you for liking. And actually, Corey, man, I want to give you a second shout out, bro. You are always active on Facebook, man. I really appreciate you for sharing all my work. Just to let you know, I notice, man, who shares and who likes and who comments. But this is what the acetone looks like, guys. Big old. Y'all don't have to. Thank you for sharing, Corey. This is the big one. Y'all don't have to buy this big old one. They come in a smaller thing. I got it from Home Depot. Pretty inexpensive, so that's why I just buy the bigger version of it. If you're new to it and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to do this for that long, or I'm going to test it out, I would recommend you get like a smaller acetone, maybe like $5-6. So you need to get some of that. We need to get cotton balls. Cotton balls are great because they can cover like a bulk area. And guys, I know there's a lot of you in here that are, man, you guys are probably looking at me like, are we really doing like a tutorial on how to paint from scratch? Because I know you guys are experts here, but for the people who are beginners, man, I'm really hoping that this will be a little bit easier for you guys to kind of get your feet wet. And so we got to give them their opportunity too, right? You were there once. You were there once. You were asking the same questions. Can I paint soles? I want to paint my sole red. So let's give these guys a chance today, right? So I'm taking the laces out. Usually a good idea to take the laces out in the beginning and put them. I just put them in the shoebox just so they don't get lost, because they will get lost. But even worse, they might get dirty. They might get paint on them. And so for today, I'll just put them to the side. But let's grab a cotton ball. We'll start talking about the difference. Why am I using acetone today? Why am I not using the preparer that he just showed me? This one's a lot softer. This one is almost like a watered down version. And so I've worked on the other side of the shoe. I've tested it out. I could tell now that acetone's not going to mess up this section. So I'm just going to use acetone. That'll really strip off any oils, anything that might be separating our paint from the shoe. You want it to be a durable, lasting swoosh, right? All right, so now doing the same thing here. I like to leave, like for example, that Nike logo, I'll leave it for the end. Because, you know, if you don't know if that Nike logo, for example, is painted on, you might swipe it and it might come off. So I'm not even sure myself. So I'll just do a couple of quick swipes on the end. So it's not coming off. So now I feel a little bit more comfortable to just go over it, okay? So that's one of the reasons why we're using acetone over the prepare and deglazer, because, see, sometimes I'm not really sure what's going to just come right off and what's going to strip and what's not going to strip off easily. So if you want to be safe, you can always use this one first and say, hey, that's like the watered down version. If some paint starts peeling off or coming off, you already know how to handle the situation from there. All right, so there we go. We got all of the sections now cleaned off, right? Look at that. That's from Goat. Y'all see that little mark? It's like a little shiny, I think it's glue. They're lucky we're painting this shit, because otherwise that would have been unacceptable to have a glue mark on the outside of my shoe. I would have had to hit up somebody in customer support. Anyways, threw the cotton ball away. I'm going to let it dry for a minute, okay? So while it's drying, and the reason I'm letting it dry is because if you put paint on it right away, you're putting almost like oil and water together. You don't want that combination. They don't like each other. So let the acetone first dry off. It dries real fast, 3 minutes. But while that's happening, let's start to get our color palette together. I've got, man, by the way, guys, I'm all over the place with my paints. I'm like a zombie the last 10 days, so yeah. I don't know how many of you guys have done that before. I had to hit a timeline. It was for his birthday, and it was like, it had to be on Saturday. You have to deliver on Saturday. It's dude's birthday. Y'all see this? Look how dry that is. So I just want you guys to understand the viscosity of paint is important too. It should just be dropping like milk, and so it's not. You'll see that? So that's a little bit of a concern. I might not use this paint today, okay? Let me see if I could find maybe an alternative. Maybe we can find an alternative and just simply make our own color. That's going to be the other option. Let's see, I've got a dark bone. Let's see how... the good thing is I could put this right next to this and we can compare it. I mean, it looks close, but that has more of a grayish tone to this suede here. Y'all see the suede in that gray? It's actually pretty close. What do y'all think? Maybe I need to lighten it up a little bit. Anyways, let's start with this. Let's start with dark bone. Let's see where that takes us. Okay. And I need a blue. And that blue needs to have almost like a grayish tone to it. If y'all look at the actual blue swoosh here, you know, a lot of colors have a second variation that's toppled on it. And what I mean by that is it might look grayish or greenish, or if it's darker, it might be like a more of a navy blue. So sometimes what I'll do is if I can't find the exact color, I'll look for the color that looks like it's mixed into it and try to mix it to get to that color. All right. So when I'm saying that, I'm saying, like, let's look at this blue, for example. See that blue? It's like a royal blue. It's like really bright. And so you don't want it to look bright because that doesn't look bright to me. This looks more dumbed down. All right. So you want to look for a color now that might darken it up a little bit. All right. So let's look for a color that's a little bit darker. Even, you know, I could use maybe like a sapphire, for example. But all these guys are very, very bright when they come out. So how do we kill that brightness? We use another color that's not bright. You see, grays are usually muted. All right. So again, I haven't tried any of this. I'm just starting to match colors here. That's the concept. So let's start pouring stuff out. Let's see how things. Let's see how things work out. All right, y'all. All right. Oh, you know what? I think I haven't even popped this. Yep, haven't even popped this one open yet. Actually, you know what? Let me leave that one to the side for right now. Let's use the sapphire. It's open, and then I'm gonna mix it with the Angelus gray, anyways. All right. Y'all see my little niece? She was painting on this thing the other day. You could tell because they use up all the dang paint, dude, and they just swash it around everywhere. No clue what's going on. All right, let's see. So I got to kind of match that gray, right? I mean that blue. So let's start off with just a little bit of gray. I'm going to drop a little bit, and I always drop it to the side of it, not immediately in the middle. See, dropping it on the side, that gives you an opportunity to mix it in between. Let me see if I can find a clean stick. This is clean enough. It's dry. I like to kind of mix it in the middle, because when you mix it in the middle, then you can have a direct comparison of what the color looks like right next to the two. And then if I feel like it needs to be a little bit more gray, I can just take a little bit more gray and push it in until we get to the color that we need. Now a lot of people like to do like, oh, I need to have like a drop count. I need 15 drops of blue for every 3 drops of gray. I mean, I don't do all that, man. I just try to I just match it by my, you know, by freestyling it. I don't know. It's worked out so far. Nobody said anything, so I don't think it needs to get that complicated, I think. But some people are very technical with their stuff. I'm probably not the best person to follow if y'all into that, but other things I am. All right, so what do you guys think? I put that in an area where you guys could see it and the light's not exactly hitting it. See, you guys can see how now we've got a more grayer tone. It's a blue, but it's not like a bright blue. It's not popping. It's a lot more discreet, right? Hey, man, I appreciate you too, Superman Lover. Thank you again, man, for all the support, bro. Superman Lover said everything you do is heat anyway, so appreciate you, bro. I appreciate that, man. That's a big compliment. All right, so let's put I always put the stick kind of in the corner there so I don't mess up whatever the heck I'm doing. And I'm going to grab a brush. The brushes I use are the Princeton Selects. I use a lot of Princeton's, but this seems to be a good brand where it's like this brush is affordable. It's not in the the best tier category, meaning they have really expensive brushes that are really nice and fine. This is a good like beginner style brush. And then they have other brushes as well, but since I'm dealing with like this acrylic paint, this is good for, this matches up good with acrylic paints. All right, so let's I think the shoe's ready to go. Let me grab this shoe here, and I could already feel like the bristles here are really, really tough. So let me soften them up a little bit. People are gonna tell you otherwise, but I usually use a little bit of acetone. So I'll use a little acetone here just to soften up the brush. And this is the brush my niece was using, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's paint on it still yet. Alright, let me let that soak in a little bit. You need a refresher course? You know what, man? It's never bad to get a refresher. You know, everybody needs to go back to the basics every now and again, right? It's the foundation of everything you do. And If you don't have the foundation, bro, you're gonna be a falling building. You need that foundation to stay strong, not skip corners and stuff, right? All right, y'all. So we got the shoe ready to go. I'm gonna start with the blue. I mean, I've already mixed it, and we're gonna just compare it too to see how close I came. This brush here is a flat angular brush. I like it because you can see how big it is here. This is a 3/8 inch, I believe. Yeah, 3/8 inch, and y'all could see how nicely that kind of fits right in that swoosh area. So it doesn't take me a lot of time to cover the actual area. The reason I mention the size is because if you're working in little spots that have nooks and crannies, meaning they're really small and really detailed and really fine, you're going to have to change your brush to a brush that's thinner and smaller, that does the job for that area. So what's nice about the color, it covers almost immediately. See that? This is just one very light layer in. I'm trying to really lay it very lightly as I can. Try to avoid that swoosh here if I can. There we go. So I avoided that swoosh. Looking good. And now I'm looking for any brush marks here. I can see some brush marks here. Y'all see some in there? So what I'll do is I'll very lightly just graze the brush marks away. I do that until I can see that there's no more brush strokes there. And sometimes this takes a little bit of practice, okay? What I mean by practice is just very lightly, because they're just right here on the top layer. You just want to take that real light top layer stroke off. So you can be very light with the brush. How's that look? Are we close? We gotta wait for it to dry. Alright, but you know what? I think we're pretty close there. You know, I think we're maybe a shade off or so. I don't know how it looks there in the camera, but over here on this side, man, it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna just go ahead and look for any corners I missed. The corners tend to be forgotten a lot of the times, guys. So what I like to do is either go do the middle section and then refine and go in and do the corners, or the opposite way. Sometimes you can do the corners first if you like to do these corners first. But either way, you just want to make sure they both have enough coverage. Over here on the thread line, keep that paint very thin, because if you don't, this paint just has a tendency to like catch onto the thread, and you don't want the thread to look like really thick. You want the thread to be nice and thin, just like it came from the factory. Alright? So with that said, I'm going to just go in, and if you guys see me doing an extra couple of brushes here, like I just did, it's because I'm really trying to make sure that thread line is nice and thin. Alright, that looks good. Now as I did that, I made a couple of mistakes. So it's a good idea for me to just clean those mistakes up while they're still kind of fresh. I'm using sorry guys, I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but I'm using a Q-tip here. It's one of the finer, precise Q-tips. And I'll just go ahead and put a little bit of acetone on there. I'm not going to try to get it too wet. I just want to get a little bit on there. And y'all see on the inside there, I got a little bit of blue on the inside. The reason I'm using the precise is because it's so thin. See how thin it is? I can get in this little nook and cranny and clean this up. Alright? So when you think about using an eraser, this is my eraser. If I need to erase something, I'll put a little bit of acetone in. I'll look for a spot. You guys see that little spot there? And I'm just going to go in one stroke until it's completely eliminated. So I got a little bit more to clean up. So I'll do one more little Q-tip here. And again, I'm not going to move it all the way around and swash everything all together. I'm just going to use it in one straight line. See that? Because you're gonna have this blue left over. And if I start doing it in other spots now, this blue is gonna transfer there. So you don't want that to happen. Alright? Give me a sec, guys. I'm gonna turn this. I keep getting a notification here. I'm gonna turn it off. Okay, maybe I'm not gonna turn it off. Alright, I think that's good. Let me go ahead and clean the brush off a little bit. Let's see if I can turn this off now. That's annoying, dude. Oh, it's a messenger, of course. Alright, let's clean this up real quick. I think I put the acetone in here last time. I can't find my little... I had a little bucket here. Where did it go? Y'all see a little Dixie cup around here? I had a little Dixie. I don't know where it went. Oh, here it is. Using it to clean this guy up. Probably a good idea to take that out too. Alright. Just cleaning this airbrush out. But you can't leave it in acetone for too long or you're going to mess up the entire airbrush. Alright. Alright, let's put this airbrush to the side. And I'll clean that later. Okay. Let's go ahead and, again, I'm just dipping this in a little bit of acetone. I'm doing that because it'll clean that all off. Bruh. Go to notifications. Notifications off, duh. There we go. Cool. Alright, hopefully there's no more notifications. Sorry about that, guys. So I clean the brush off. I do that because obviously if the paint's drying there, the paint's going to be drying on the brush too. And I want to keep these bristles nice and soft. Alright? So now that I could already tell, like if you look at it, can you all see? It's dry. Pretty quick, right? That's that first layer is drying. As it's drying off, I'm going to go ahead and just look for any spots I missed. Again, I missed this little section here. And because I missed it, I want to try to cover all of the sections all at the same time. So then that way, like when we're all finished, they'll all have an equal amount of coats. Now you guys can see why I like the flat angular, because look at this little thin little spot here. Usually I would need to use like a detail brush, but I'm just picking up a little bit of paint and dropping it in that section. All right, so that's good. Let's knock this swoosh out on this side. We're lucky that this blue has a nice grayish tone to it because it covers a lot easier. Sometimes if you have, like, for example, this swoosh is green, and let's say they want to paint it yellow, well, that's going to be a little bit more of a challenge because your color has to be lighter. Meaning that since you see how we have a green here, it's a little bit lighter than this blue, and so it's covering pretty decently right now. But if we had this green and we needed to turn it yellow, the yellow will never overtake green because the yellow is lighter. So what you're going to have to do if you wanted to paint this guy yellow today, you would have to paint the green swoosh first white. Basically, you'd have to white it out, like make it look like a blank canvas. And then you can hit it with a yellow paint, because then you'll get that nice bright yellow that you want. All right. Exception for that might be if you wanted like for example, like a mustard, something that's not bright. If you wanted more of a deeper yellow, then maybe you can get away with painting it straight up. But if you want a bright yellow, a neon yellow, something that's brighter than your original swoosh, then you're going to have to paint it white first. Again, we lucked out today with this color because I would say in this almost like the first layer here, I'm pretty much done with the swoosh, which is a great thing because for me, like, the less paint that I have on my shoe, the better. I remember I used to take my time like to paint these swooshes. It took me a lot longer than this. I think I probably knocked this one out in like 5 minutes. And I used to be all careful. I'd be like just doing like a little layer like this, you know, in this little section. And then I realized like, dude, this is a whole panel. Just drop some paint on it, and move, you know? You got to just put enough paint in the sections that you need. So like that. So you see how I laid out the whole line? And then you can just go in and do a lot more covering in a lot less time if you do it that way. See that? The key is that you want to know how much paint that you can actually put on the shoe without it drying in time. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to put so much on there where you're struggling to take out all of the brush strokes. So what you want to do is just do a little panel at a time. So this is a perfect example of like a little panel you can do at one time, because you can already see most of the paint now, because I've moved it around and made it nice and uniform, is already drying. It's in that process of drying. So now that I'm done with that, now I can move to the second section here of the swoosh. Notice that when I'm going up and down the thread line, I'll go back and forth like this. And I do that because, you know, the swoosh is sewn into the shoe. And when it's sewn in, that leather kind of sinks in. That's where that thread line is. It's not like perfectly straight. So sometimes you're going to miss a little piece of that green. And the way I try to avoid doing that is just kind of going back and forth. Almost like a vacuum cleaner. You know, you go back and forth and you clean up, and if you miss anything, you got to go back and forth, make sure you get everything there. And I do that kind of same concept there. Is I'll go back and forth on that thread line. Again, at the end though, I'm going to make sure that that thread line, I get all of the paint off of it, because you don't want to have it be all chunky there. You can see how much paint's still kind of spilling out of it. See that? And then at the end, I'll just do a nice clean swoop and get that all taken off of the shoe. Got this little back piece here. See, again, this is from that Princeton brush. It's a good quality brush. I want to keep my bristles nice and clean, because then you can be a lot more detailed. You can have all of the intricacy that you need, that this tool can provide. If you have your bristles all frayed, then you're not going to be the one who benefits from it. You know, even this brush has frays in it. Can you guys see that? It's not perfect. It's because my little, like I said, my little niece used it. So she was like smashing it and banging it up. So this is almost like a test of my skill. How good am I at painting panels detail without using another brush? Probably not that good, but we'll find out. All right, so I took that off. Again, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna put a Q-tip and a little bit of acetone on it, and I'm gonna look for any imperfections that I have around the swoosh. I see one very, very small one here. Y'all see that? Let's see if I can put that one up here. See this one right here? It's so like small, but all these little things bother me. So I got to make sure that they're taken care of before I give it back to the customer. This is what's going to happen if you try to use a used Q-tip. You're just going to make things worse. So let me just flip it to the other side. All right, nice clean section here. And let's clean that up. One stroke or two should get rid of it. There we go. Cool. So now that's taken care of. We've got to still do the back, right? So as that's drying, let's jump on the back. Again, we're not doing anything different. We're just dipping this in a little bit of acetone. I know they have different paint cleaners as well that you can use. There's a ton of different paint products and paint cleaners and all this. I don't know. I just been sticking acetone because it works. People say don't use it because it'll dry out the brushes and this and this and that, but I don't know. I haven't noticed a difference, so for me, I'm good. I'm gonna stick with it. Stick with what works, unless I could find something that works better. Just a little corner here. So I'm gonna literally go right to that corner with the edge of my brush, and that's how I know just to stroke straight up. The main thing that I want you guys to see here is my control. I have a lot of control now. When I first started this, dude, I was so like fidgety and shaky, and I'm like, man, I'm never gonna get good at hand painting. I actually started off with the airbrush, and then I started hand painting second. So for me, I didn't have any tutors or anybody to show me how to hand paint, and so I just had to learn trial by error. And yeah, you know, like the experience that I gained from that, I almost feel like it's difficult to learn any more, you know, precisely than when you just put your own hand to it and feel it and see the errors yourself, and then, you know, you have to figure out your own errors. So it's one of the best ways for you to understand the concept of painting. You know, a lot of people are so intrigued by it, but they never want to try it because they're intimidated or afraid. It's not difficult. You know, you just got to learn the concepts of everything. And I think that once you get your first shoe down, you know, a lot of people get hooked. A lot of people get hooked. It's a great way to express your creative outlet. What a fantastic way for you to show off something that you're proud of. Right at that edge. See that? Right at the edge. So far, so good, right? Cool. And I think we got just a little bit more here in this corner. And we've got to paint that Nike sign still. All right, let me make sure I got a good angle here so I can give you guys. I might have to stand for this. Ugh. Sadir, I'll answer your question right now, man. Just give me a quick sec, bro. All right, so watch what I do, guys. I'm going to put my pinky finger down. Okay? And that's going to give me a little bit more control on this shoe. Before when I didn't know about this whole pinky finger trick, bro, this whole sock liner right here would have been mashed with blue. I would have been like, damn, that's a lot of cleanup, you know? Now I realize, man, that the slower I go and the more precise I am with cleaning this up, now I save so much more time when I just go slow rather than rush. Again, pinky finger down. And I'm holding it free-handed, so it's shaking a little bit. I would recommend you guys put it down on a surface that's not moving. You know, you want it to be completely stable. That also gives you another opportunity for something to help you hold it. When I'm holding it like this, my left hand can be shaken. And you don't want shaking. You want that nice clean line. See that? I tagged myself. So let's clean it. That's inevitable. So I'm not gonna say nobody messes up because I can't vouch for everybody, but you know, there's a highly likelihood that you're not gonna get a perfect paint job every time. There's always cleanup to do. So that's okay. You know, once I came to that realization of like, yo, stop being mad at yourself every time you nick something and just realize it's part of the process, things become a lot more easier for me. Alright, so I got a good majority there. Switch over. Trying to keep that nice clean peak there of this Q-tip. So cool. So that looks pretty good. I don't even mind if I get a little bit of green. See how I got the green back? That's not a big deal. I want to keep that nice white sock liner. That's the more important part for me here, because I can always redo that little blue part. It's not a big deal. But, you know, so for me, I just feel like that's the better way to go about doing it, because you're going back to the original color of the shoe without like having to repaint stuff. I want to keep things as dead stock, as factory as possible, because that gives you least likelihood of any cracking, right? If it's the original shoe. So I'll tell you right now, this is happening because when my niece had frayed the brush, if I had a nice clean brush, this would have been one nice fell swoop and we would have called it a day. But that's okay. That didn't take too long to clean up. All right. But now we've got to get in like little intricate areas like the Nike. So let's switch up the brush here. All right. So again, we were using this big brush. I'm going to change that brush up now. Oh, shit. I almost fucking spilled that. All right. Let me change this up real quick to not this guy for sure. This looks like some eyelashes right there, y'all. Something real nice and intricate. Here we go. So I'm going to use a 12-0. Now, I know I told you guys the first brush, it's a great brush because it's affordable and it does the trick. This guy right here is the dawn of all dawns. 12-0 Angular Shader by Princeton. It's a mini detailer. I use this for all my detail work. All the Simpson stuff, I use this. Just because it just, I don't know, man, it has a great feel to it. I have so much control with this thing. And as I say that, watch me mess up. This Nike's weird. It looks like it's peeling off. The good thing is I'm going to paint over it anyways. Alright, my goal is to see if I can do this without needing to clean anything up. And that's a lofty goal because there's a lot of intricate little corners here. Like this little N here. I got to get like in that little spot without tagging it. Guys, sorry, I know I haven't read the comments, so I'll be back on the comments right now. I just want to try to get into this as quickly as possible because I know every time I jump on, I got to talk to you guys for like an hour and a half before I actually jump on the project. People like, andale, let's go. All right, got that end down. All right, jumping on the next side of the end. I'll tell you right now, if y'all want to practice painting, practice doing these little Nike signs. I promise you, you'll get better. I promise you, you'll get better. Once you get the outline done, though, it's a lot easier to just complete the rest of it. I'll show you what I mean by that. So, for example, like on this K, right? Let's try to knock out just the surrounding area of the K. Because once I get that done, then I could be a little bit more careless. But this part here, you got to have precision. This is like that game Operation. I remember Operation, where you had to be real careful not to hit nothing. Same thing. Just got to take your time. Okay, and then any excess paint, anything that you see that might actually look like it's going to bubble up or might cause a paint stroke, you want to clean that up before it dries. Alright, now I'm jumping on this E, and I'm just going to keep going straight. There we go, cool. Just train right through that. Alright, let's keep going around that E now. I'm going to jump into the inside here. One there. One there. Let's flip it. Notice my pinky. One there. One there. Let's clean it up on the inside. Let's get it. Now, how many of you guys feel intimidated by painting this kind of a section here? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Is this part hard? Is it easy? Is it getting easier? Look at my knuckles here, guys. I'm not using my pinky here. This is like Grand Theft Auto. Like, if I lose, y'all should throw a big wasted sign on me. Wasted. Alright, now I'm holding it with the pinky finger. I've got the shoe on the table. I'm holding it on the back. So it's so stable. It's not moving. And that's the key on here on really painting intricate, nice straight lines. Going all the way around the K first. Once I'm around the K, it's a piece of cake, because then I just, see, I'm just filling in. I like to paint things top down, meaning the brush being like right on top of the actual shoe, just because I can see it well. I've got a lot of lighting in here. Lighting is very important. Make sure your setup, you have lighting. And I didn't know this, but there's several different variations of light. Like, you could have, you know, warm light. You can have LEDs, which is like kind of like very bright white. So you want to get like more of a brighter white setting, almost like an office setting white, because that will usually show all of your errors a lot more clearer. Let's go. I'm almost there, man. This is it, man. Not bad, huh? That's a good way to test yourself. Like, if you think that you want to improve, give yourself a challenge. See, can you paint this Nike sign all the way through without making any mistakes? Because I promise you that's going to get your hand-eye coordination better. This is like, doing shooting drills, playing basketball. It's the same thing. You're going to get that confidence in you. Right? Alright, it looks pretty good. I do need to go over another layer because I can see the green. See, like in this section here, I could see the green. But just like those swooshes, let's give this a little opportunity to dry. And I like to do that because that way we're consistently working on the shoe. Look at that, man. We're pretty close already. That looks pretty good. So I got to jump into this gray, right? Again, I'm going to clean the brush off. I don't want to keep the brush tips all, with paint on them. It's going to dry, gunk up. And that's when remember we were talking about the brush tip? That's when the brush tips get all messed up, because if they're all already frayed and then they're dried, they like fossilize in there, so keep them nice and clean. Okay, let's jump into some gray. This gray that I put down, man, is very suspect, yo. Look at that. That's suspect. Okay, so I'm not gonna use that. Ugh. Dark bone. Let's try dark bone. Maybe dark bone will work. I don't know. Okay, yeah, see that? That looks a lot more. This one looks more like yogurt. So, I mean, it's not exactly where I want it. So what I could do is drop a little bit of too thin, which will kind of water it down. And I don't drop a lot of too thin, just a couple of drops. 3 drops there, okay? Just for if anyone's a drop counter. Your drop counter. And let's mix that bad boy up. And that's now going to give it a little bit more of a watery consistency like milk. That's where you want to be with your paints. You want it to like smoothly. You want it to paint smooth. You don't want it to look. See? Hopefully you guys saw that difference. It's pretty much night and day over here, so. Alright, let me jump on this swoosh real quick. Alright. So again, just dipping enough where I could tell that I'm not going to be overwhelmed with the paint. I'm not going to let the paint control me. I'm going to control the paint. Right now we're on a white swoosh, so I could have today I could have painted it yellow, hot pink, whatever color I wanted to. Obviously the client wants a gray, but again, this is a perfect example of when you got a blank slate with a white, you can literally paint it whatever color you'd like. And here's a good example of you can still kind of see through this color. Even though we're painting a white swoosh, you can see that it's a lighter color. It doesn't have as much pigment in it. So it might take me, 2, 3, maybe 4 coats. Who knows? We've got to keep going until it's completely covered though. Alright, see? And it looks like I put just enough paint on the actual brush so it's not like drowning. Like if you put too much paint on here, no matter where you're like swooshing the paint, it almost seems like there's paint everywhere. That means you're adding too much paint on your brush in the beginning. Pick up less paint, okay? It's almost like you're filling a glass of water up with too much water. So what's going to happen with the rest of the water? It's going to have no place to be in the cup. It's going to spill. So same thing with this. If there's too much paint here, it doesn't have anywhere to go. It's just going to sit on top of your leather. And you don't want that to happen because you're going to see a big bulk spot there. Big chunky spots. And we're trying to achieve a nice smooth effect here. Unless you guys have an intention of making it look chunky for your theme or something, you want to try to stick to doing what I'm doing here, which is spreading it nice and thin. So that's that first coat down. And as I look at the first coat, I can see through the white still. Y'all see that? I could see through the white. So maybe let's give it a little bit, try to keep everything as consistent as possible. I'm trying to get it to be one color. So any little blotchy spots, I'm going to just add a little bit of extra. We want to get it to catch up. Wen Chen, thank you so much for liking, homie. And this leather seems a little slippery, meaning that it doesn't seem like it needs too much paint to get covered. I don't know if this works or not. I was blowing it every once in a while to get it to dry right. Oh man, that's not bad. What time is it here? What do we do this in, an hour? We did an hour on the dot, yo. So I'm gonna give this a quick chance to just kind of dry before I keep going. I'm gonna check the chat room real quick, see if you guys have any questions so far. Sorry about the I know I haven't been answering any questions, guys. I'm so sorry. Rico Brown, what's good, homie? How you living? Rico Brown's over on Facebook. Let's see here. Yeah, man. Looks dope. Okay, go. Did you say use stitching as... Okay. Oh, did you say you used the stitching as gray on the white swoosh? I did, Graham. I used gray. I mean, I could have used white as well. You know, it would have just... The paint would have just covered it. It wouldn't have been a big difference. But, you know, obviously if you're using like a black or a darker color thread, that paint might not, you know, do as well. So that's why I try to use the same color stitching if possible. And then that way... You know, same thing on the you've seen the Patreon Christian Dior reconstruction. I try to use a color that's similar there too, so you can't see the actual stitching in the Dior print. You know, so same thing. I think I use almost like a charcoal color when we're doing the Dior Air Force One reconstruction. Sorry, I'm painting and talking to you there. I like how you step by step with the main. Most don't take the time to. Struggle made voodoo. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, Doug. It's, you know, like I said, I didn't have anybody teaching me all this stuff, man. So I'm happy that I can give you guys the opportunity to do so. You know. Let's see. Hey, we haven't seen Speed Infusion on, man. Is this guy gonna be on or what? Speed Infusion, are you there, bro? This guy's supposed to be on a long time ago. I don't think he showed up. Okay. It is what it is. Want to become famous by followers, primes, and viewers on big follows? Nah, come on, dude. Over here spamming and shit. Superman lover. Yes, yellow is a tough color to use. Yellow for a lot of people is tough, man. I would recommend if you guys have the opportunity to grab an airbrush, yellow would be a lot easier to shoot. Neon yellow, neon orange, lighter colors. Xavier B, thank you for following, homie. You know, anything that's lighter is a little bit harder to apply on shoes. Usually you'll see like the brush strokes and stuff like that as well, which kind of sucks, you know. There are different paint companies too, though. You know, like for example, this Alpha Flex. Man, the white on the Alpha Flex, this pink, a lot of these colors when I was using it on the Simpsons custom, they were just going on with no problem. The yellow, I did have to place white underneath it too. But it didn't have the issue of any kind of like paint strokes or, you know, see-through afterwards. It didn't have the visibility issues. Layla, what you smiling about? Sadir said, what is the name of the cleaner you use to keep the hairs soft on your brushes again? I know of the Winsor & Newton brush cleaner and restorer. Sadir, I'm using just standard acetone. And I know a lot of people say don't use acetone. So I don't know if you want to go by that or not, you know. It works for me, so, you know, if I have problems with my brushes, it's usually that they're like all messed up. So I'm going to have to buy a new brush anyways. So generally I've just, you know, I use acetone. I just put it in, I dip it in, swash it around a little bit, and then I'll, you know, it'll be clean. And then I'll just keep going with it. But, you know, there's a bunch of different cleaners, man, like I said. So... hold your breath while that pinky finger is down. I don't do that anymore, dude. Sadir, I used to hold my breath, man, but it's just now I just naturally breathe. I know a lot of people do that. I used to hold my breath too when I was painting. At this point now in the game, bro, I'm just like, yo, if I mess up, I'm just going to have to clean it up. But now I feel like more relaxed. I feel like, you know, same thing like when you're, you know, I mentioned like shooting free throws, you know, you just got to be relaxed and go with your rhythm. And you'll be fine. But, you know, and not to say that you can't hold your breath. A lot of people prefer holding your breath. And, you know, I guess maybe you guys have more of a steady feel or something when you go through this. But now I'm just painting at this point where I think I have enough idea of how to clean up my messes So I'll just keep going with it, and I'll go with the flow, I guess. There we go. I'm just looking at the little edges now, looking for any, again, like I mentioned to you guys before, these edges here where the swoosh is sewn in, it sinks in, and so you don't want to miss these edges. I know I got more in the chat, guys. I just want to get this knocked out real quick. Again, if you guys have questions, now's the time. Because we're about an hour in. I'm probably going to bounce pretty soon. All this edge right here was missing. All of this right here. All right, that looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Does this look like the mock-up now? Might need to just do another layer on top of everything, but I think that the blue might need a little bit more gray. And so that's why I just kind of hit it with this first blue and wasn't like, how can I say it? I wasn't super concerned if it was a perfect match. I just want to get somewhere close. I want to get some paint onto the actual shoe. And then once paint's on the actual shoe, the next layer, which is probably might be my finalizing layer here, the next layer. If it's my next layer is my finalizing layer, then what I'm going to do is really get it to color match then, because that's going to be the color that people are going to see at the end. You feel me? Kind of just put this on a little edge here, let it dry so y'all could see it. Clean this up real quick, and just jump back on that chat. See what else we got here. Customs by Kev. What's good, homie? How are you, Kev? By the way, you flexed hard in the Simpson Jordan 1s. How did the birthday boy... Man, the birthday boy loved them, bro. We've got footage of it, so it's going to be coming real soon as well. But it was great because it was my roommate from... Man, I haven't seen the dude for 18 years. So that's a long time not to see somebody and then surprise him with something like that. So I know for a fact, dude, that he was surprised. Oh man, you're right, dude. You know what, Graham? You can call me Potty Mouth Sohail, but I promise you, bro, she's on something right now on her iPad, and she probably didn't hear anyway, so I'm not tripping. And if she did, she already know. She's heard me enough. And I just gotta say my bad, so. Sneaky Ricky said definitely easier now than when I started, right? It's just like anything. When you go to the weight room and you bench for the first time and you could feel the bars wobbly because you got weight on it, you know? Or if you're just dropping more weight on it, you're not used to it. So, GTC Reels, I just rubbed chapstick in the stitching with a magnifying glass on and airbrush, then scrape away the paint after it dries. Damn, bro, you went super detailed with it. That's a really good recommendation, man. If you guys want to get really down to the nitty gritty, Graham just said I just rubbed chapstick in the stitching with a magnifying glass on and airbrush, then scrape away the paint after it dries. Dang, that seems a little tedious, man. But if you're all for it, bro, it's extremely annoying to paint that Nike on the back panel. I usually acetone that off or cover it up completely with with character work. Sadir, you use blazers a lot. I think this is my first blazer, so it's my first time actually getting into painting it, so it's not that bad, but yeah, I could see it being annoying, especially if you're doing it a lot. I would have painted the Nike blue and went back and painted it white. Oh, Superman lover, you know what? That's a great thing that you're learning this then, because a lot of things that I learn nowadays is that when you learn the steps of what should be painted first and second, even when you're doing airbrushing and you're doing a lot of stencil work, you should take a step back and think about your process first. That way it'll save you a lot more time, because I've done that too, and I'll give you an example of how I've done that. If you guys watched my YouTube video on when I did that red pair of LV and Supreme Customs, I painted the whole shoe red. It was a white, pure white Money 4. Then I painted the whole shoe red. Then I put on the stencils, the LV stencils, And then I shot the LVs in white and all the little LV symbols in white. Why didn't I just take the stencils, the LV stencils, place them on the Pure Monies, and then shoot the whole shoe red? Then peeled off all the LV stencils that were white underneath it. It would have saved me a ton of time, you know? But this is more of a trial and error and learning experience. So I'm glad that you just said that, man. You learned something from this lesson today, you know? And the crazy part is your experience. So it's great to see that you have experience and you still learned something from the lesson today, man. That's great. Yeah, GTC Reels, I feel you on that. The paint doesn't soak in with the Angelus paint. The Angelus paint, I feel like, is a little, it's a little too thick for getting in those sections. So that's why, my friend, you got to use a brush, you know, because that's why I'm doing that sweeping back and forth motion, you know, like this. Because when you do that sweeping motion, you'll get a good, I'd say you get a good majority of the threading, you know. You still may have to go back in and knock it out one more time, but yeah, I mean, it's, you know, different paints have a different reaction to that thread too. You know, some of them might be a little bit thinner and just kind of sulk in, and really that's what you want to do. And the reason why your airbrush is probably working a little bit better is because you're doing it like top down and you're misting it with the airbrush, and so it has a different way of getting onto the shoe, and you're covering. But yeah, that chapstick method, that's crazy, man. That's the first time I've heard anyone use that kind of a method. It's interesting. Y'all see the yellow edges? I got to still get that. Now I can use this, but it's frayed, so I'm not going to do that because I already know how much I'm going to clean up. So I'm going to go back to this 12-0. And again, this is when the 12-0 is amazing, because now I can still get this little corner here and try my best to avoid hitting the actual white shoe. Only problem is I'm running out of paint. Ah! You're running out of paint, dude. If I run out of paint, maybe I'll just mix another batch and do it later, but let's see if I can try to get as much as I can in. On top of that, this paint is also drying, so I've got two issues. It's a real thin little swoosh. And now I got a double swoosh, so it's really intricate here. Making sure y'all could see here. Look at where I'm holding it. I'm holding it all the way at the base now. Sliding underneath the gray swoosh to get to the blue section. Almost like a teardrop, like those little droplets you use. Y'all remember that game Operation I was mentioning? This Operation right here. Operation don't get paint on the white blazer. Bruh, if that wasn't an angle right there. That's a crazy angle, right? That LA kid, what's good? Is that you, Alex? That's you, huh? That gotta be you, bro. I've done 3 pairs. Hey man, you did three more pairs than I did, that's for sure. This guy said sensei. You're funny, Dad. You're funny, dog. Let's see. It looks pretty clean to me. So now I got to do the same thing with the gray, and we'll clean that up. And then I think after that I'll just take some questions. I gotta jump out to get some supplies today before they close. Alright, so same thing, I'm gonna be using the 12-0 and I'm gonna be just straddling that line. Let's move this paint over here, because we're gonna have to pick and go, pick and go, pick and go. Alright. So on the second layer, as I paint that one, I'm going to finalize everything. All the little spots that I missed like this, they all got to be cleaned up by the second layer. Alright guys, I gotta jet out after this, but I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes right now. See what time it is, and I'll let you guys, any questions I can answer for y'all. Doesn't have to be about these blazers, y'all. It could be about anything. If you guys have questions about something else, if you're working on a custom and you're stuck, this is your time, man. Speak up, or forever hold your peace. There we go. Cool. I think not bad, huh, for a concept. What's up, Alex? You gonna just try to switch it up or what? Everybody know Alex Roofhopper? Who knows Roofhopper, man? Roofhopper paints. I mean, not paints. Roofhopper films all of the Patreon stuff. Alex does all of the editing, the shooting. Pretty much everything, man. If it wasn't for Alex, man, I wouldn't even be here right now, I feel like, man. I appreciate you, doggy. What's good, man? You should say what's up to everybody, man. This fool said, I'm Joseph. You's a lie, bro. So that LA kid and Alex Roofhopper is the same guy, and this guy he's got plenty of time on his hands, because today he's messaging from both of them. Try dropping olive oil on the air bubble, then go ham on the airbrush, and then use a toothpick to peel the painted bubble. It saves me so much time. Wow, that's another great suggestion, Graham. Well, y'all be coming up with some crazy ways to paint, man. But really shows you guys how many different opportunities you have to paint, and how we can come up with the same kind of a project in different ways, right? Who else we got? Any other questions here? Let's see. Man, that's a great question, Sadir. We're still working on it, man. What ended up happening was the Goyard shoes that I had created. Apparently, Goyard wasn't too happy with us making that pair. And so Instagram took down the original Feel Good threads. And we're trying to get it back right now. But now I have to go through all this hoopla to do it, and from my experience, everyone's saying that it's taken them months to get it back, so I'm not holding my breath. The only good thing is they can't take the creativity away, man. So people, if they like your work, they'll find you. You know what I mean? Bro, AMC to the moon. We still waiting, homie. I've been waiting for the moon, dog. You think I'm trying to go live? I'm trying to be in Hawaii right now. Freaking AMC is killing me. Let's get it. He said, wait, wrong channel. I think you're in the right channel, dog. There's a lot of people in here, I bet you, that are invested in some AMC. If not AMC, I bet you Dogecoin. One or the other. You're funny, dude. How did it do today, Alex? How did AMC do? I saw it was up at like 33. But I have a feeling that it's not going to be going up anytime soon, which is not a good thing. Crypto is doing great, though. Superman Lover said, I appreciate you, doggy. That's that dude, man. He's done a lot of work for me, man, and he's put in a lot of hours. This fool even rolled with me to Memphis. I said, yo, we're filming in Memphis. You want to go? He's like, yup. Going to San Francisco. You want to film? Yup. Like, all right, dope. My guy's on board, dude. Just trying to finalize this here. Let's see if I can get this without hitting the edge. I'm scared. I'm scared. I usually use a bigger one like this, just so it covers faster. But with it being all wavy and messed up, it's a little hard to do it. Alright, I'm definitely going to have to go back in and do another coat to finalize it. But y'all get the point, right? I mean, I think for about an hour and 20 minutes, we did a pretty good job. We knocked out 3 swooshes together. We ended up doing the back of this Nike logo here. And, you know, the next step for this, guys, is just repeating that same process. I do this until you've got proper coverage, meaning you don't see the original swoosh or the original color behind the paint that you're painting. And then the last thing I do is I have to protect it. So I use this guy here. It's by LK Coats, LK Top Coats, sorry. LKTopcoats.com. You guys could use my, I have a discount code there. It's just the word feel good. And you can just cover this and this will protect all of your work. It's a scratch resistant sealer. They've got different variations. This one's gloss finish. I usually use the matte. I don't know if I have it around here. Oh yeah, I do actually. I was using so much of it lately. I ran out of a whole damn bottle. But yeah, this is the one that is probably the most popular. I'd pick this one up because it's most similar to the factory finish and stuff, you know? Oh man, I think I'm all done, guys. I gotta go eat lunch. It's 7:18 over here. No, you know what? The client came up with this mock-up over here. You see this mock-up? He sent me that mock-up. He sent me the blazers, and he said, you know, I needed to have this double swoosh on it. Very similar to Sakai. It's pretty much a Sakai swoosh. And the Sakai did come out with a blazer as well that looked very similar to this. You know what I mean? So, hopefully you guys can appreciate the video. I do have PLTR too, by the way, Sadir. I have PLTR too. Yeah, PLTR is gonna blast, bro. I promise you. Stick with it for a couple of years. PLTR is gonna go to the moon, homie. They're doing big things. So I got that for long term. Superman said I'm about to order me a pair right now. Did you come up with the double swoosh concept? Or got that one? All right, you got to go eat. GTC Reels, peace, man. I appreciate you for being on. As always, Patreon fam. Oh, speaking of, man, the Patreon family, I have another custom giveaway for you guys, man. I almost forgot to mention this, but Grill Crew Customs, he won this set of Alpha Flex paints. He's in Australia, and so I couldn't get this to him because shipping was so freaking expensive. Alpha 6, man, they're such champs. They shipped him a set of these paints, the 9 starter paints that I was supposed to ship him. So since I have this 9 left, I'm going to do this for our next giveaway. All right, so for you guys who are in the giveaway tier of Patreon, I think up here you guys can join as well. It'll show you guys, it says patreon.com/feelgoodthreads. That's going to be our next giveaway. I'm happy to give away paint for Alpha 6 because they're doing this for me, man. So thank you guys to Alpha 6. Thank you, Gail. I appreciate you as well. Really, really, really nice lady, man. Gail. So I'm happy to be working with these guys and giving you guys these paints. All right. Does give me Dodger vibes, man. I agree with you on that. This is a nice little shoe, man. It was a good concept. I like the way it came out looking. Let me show you guys real quick before I let you guys go. Let me show you guys what the other side looked like, and then I gotta bounce before Home Depot closes. All right. So give me a quick sec. I got the box too, so perfect. All right, so for those of you who are interested in the actual blazer, this model is right here. It looks like it's a vintage. Can you all see that? Vintage blazer, blazer mid 77 vintage. This one is white, pine green, sail in black. And does it have, oh yeah, the model number is BQ68061115. Don't worry if you don't have a pen or anything, because you know, we replay our videos on YouTube, so you can always just replay the video on YouTube. This is the second shoe that they had me make. It gives me some like Boston actually gives me Boston Celtics vibes. Very, very Boston Celtic-y. And you guys can see that I dyed this in a green to match the actual green here. We dyed the front panel here in black. We did the swooshes here in black. Obviously I had to do the Nike. I'll see the Nike logo on that. It's got to look nice and crispy. And then I finished it with a nice matte finish. I think it came out looking pretty dope. Tongue in black and green as well. If you're a Celtics fan, man, I think you'd appreciate that pair right there. You know what I mean? So, exactly, Superman love a second chance, homie. You guys got a second chance, and I'm really happy to give that to you guys, you know? So, with that said, guys, 7:23. I know it's a random time to say I'm out of here, but I appreciate you guys so much. If you haven't already, please follow me. All my social media is up here. They're all pretty much at Feel Good Threads, except for Instagram now. It's Feel Good Threads LA, until we get our, I was crossing my fingers, get our original one back soon. With that said, if you guys have questions, comments, please give me likes, comments, feedback. I need to know what I can do to make this a better stream for you guys. I appreciate everybody for being on. Patreon family, thank you guys so much. That LA kid, thank you so much for hopping on today. I didn't know we were going to get a celebrity appearance from you, so it's always nice to see you, homie. And they're all asking about the Simpsons kicks and the reaction that Jared had, so I think that they'll be surprised when they see his reaction, right? All right, y'all. With that said, Suhail with Feel Good Threads. I'm out of here. Peace.